Hey folks, how you doing today? Hope you're doing great. Welcome to our terrific Tuesdays where we chill and chat. This evening I'm going to talk a little bit about a topic from here. I'm not going to hang around too long because it's getting a little bit chilly. A little bit chilly out here. So today we're going to be speaking about politics, power, and getting things done. You've probably read a section in your handbook, or should I say your study guide, called Powers of the Project Manager. So I don't know if you've read Powers of the Project Manager in your study guide, but there are certain types of powers that the project manager can wield, and those are the kind of powers I would like to talk about. So I'll read a little bit of text for you and then I'll get into it. I'm curious to know though, on your end, what kind of power do you use? You know, because a lot of times the project manager doesn't have as many powers as this book describes. It says leadership and management are ultimately about being able to get things done. These skills and qualities noted help the project manager to achieve the goals and objectives of the project. And then it talks about politics being important. Politics should not be looked at as being good or bad, positive or negative. And that takes us into the whole discussion about powers of the project manager. If you're following along, it's on page 63 of the Mothership, otherwise known as the PMBOK guide. So I call it the Mothership. Alright, so I'm reading from there and it says, powers can originate with traits exhibited by the individual or the organization. Power is often supported by other people's perception of the leader. So people's perception of you could govern what kind of power you've got, what kind of power you have. Now I'm getting to the main parts of this short meeting tonight. It says various forms of power include but are not limited to. And then we've got positional power, sometimes called formal, authoritative, or legitimate. And that is power due to the project manager's position. So if you're a PM, the moment you get in, you got the position. It's a good starting point. But positional power is often not enough for the PM. You've got other types of power here. Informational power, that is all about your control of information, your ability to send information, your ability to withhold information. We got referent power, power due to the respect or admiration others hold for you and the credibility that you gain. So that's low-hanging fruit for the PM, just be in the firm long enough and begin to demonstrate those great qualities. So you might hear on the exam, you might hear positional power, referent power. There's also situational power, power due to a unique situation at play, such as a specific crisis. You've got personal or charismatic type of power. These are leaders who have charm and attraction and they speak and people are swooning as a result of their charisma. You've got relational power, and this is due to people's affiliations, their connections, their abilities to network, that equity they've got. You've got expert power, really good for when you're working with technical experts, the likes of IT and engineering, the dreaded engineering. Good Lord, it takes so much to impress those guys. I wonder why. Expert power, skill, information possessed, experience, training, education, and certification. Then you've got something called reward power. So I don't know if you guys have come across any questions in that regard about reward power. But reward power is the PM's ability to reward or to give praise. We also have punitive power, also known as coercive power. PMI, by the way, does not espouse this. PMI is not too happy when people abuse, especially punitive or coercive. So this is the ability to invoke discipline or negative consequences. The PMI doesn't want you to abuse that one. We've got ingratiating power, ability of the individual to flatter one. So the application of flattery. Pressure-based, giving people a time limit. Guilt-based, putting them on a guilt trip. Imposition of obligation or sense of duty. We're relying on you to do this. You failed us. You should have done this. You didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. Persuasive power, being able to persuade people. Have you ever come across a very persuasive PM? I don't know if you have, but some people just have a way of persuading you. They've got that power. And last but not least, we've got the power of avoidance, where you put your foot down and you say, I ain't doing it. Refusal to participate. That could be powerful, especially when people need consensus. They need your buy-in and you say, no, I ain't doing it. Okay, and last but not least, it says, top project managers are proactive and intentional when it comes to power. These project managers will work to acquire the power and authority they need within the boundaries of organizational policies, protocols, and procedures, rather than wait for it to be granted. You got to take that power. What are you doing to get that power? What are you doing to become influential in your firm? What are you doing to climb the trajectory of leadership in your firm? I'm curious to know. The trajectory of leadership in a firm begins with, of course, your position, but then you begin to build on it. You begin to get more people into your camp, allies, and so on. You begin to be likable. Likability is a big, big piece. People begin to like you. They know you. That's getting ahead on the scale of leadership, right? What about when you begin to add value to people? You begin to teach them. You begin to train them. You begin to equip them. What about when you begin to do things for the firm that no one else wants to do? All of these are ways you get further ahead. So my advice to any PM that is seeking to get ahead in the world of project management in your firm, you definitely want to show that great leadership, that charisma, you know, and practice it. You have to practice the art of it, you know. There's a quote from Richard Branson that is something to the effect of him having to practice being an extrovert because he was typically introverted, and he had to practice the art of being extroverted because people want a PM that can shift things, that can move things. We don't want a PM that, you know, cannot make things happen. All right. So anyway, that's my 2 cents as far as the powers of the project manager. All right. And that really concludes my little chat for tonight. All right. So now I'm going to take any questions. If you have any questions, my friends on Facebook, thank you guys for chatting in. I can see a few folks drop by. I can see Lisa drop by, Lachelle, and Maria. Good to see you guys. I will be sending you something at the end of this meeting for your attendance. And I know Lisa was on earlier, so I will be sending you something, Lisa. And let me go on to YouTube and see if there's anyone out there that has joined the meeting. Curious to see who's on. So now will be a time for any questions or comments or concerns. Maybe you're getting ready to take the PMP exam and you have some questions you want to bounce off me. Feel free to chat them in. It will be good to hear from you. So let's see. Oh, Carl. Hello, Carl. How you doing? What's the difference between manage/control, monitor, change? Let me get this open, Carl. I think YouTube is acting a bit strange on this machine, but I'm trying to open up the chats on a separate machine. Something strange going on. Bear with me, Carl. I will get your question as soon as I can resolve this. Okay. I'm guessing that your question is about monitor and control project work, or the monitoring and controlling process group. Okay. Oh, Grace. So Grace, feel free to go to praizion.com, www.praizion.com, and just shoot an email to the main address that's on praizion.com. That's info@praizion.com. All right. And Carl, what's the difference between manage/control, monitor change, and integrated change? So Carl, you're going to have to expand it a little bit. So manage, when you use the word manage in the world of the PMI, it means that you are in the monitoring, I beg your pardon, it means you're in the executing process group. Whenever you hear that word, right? So manage pretty much means you're in executing. Control means you're in the monitoring and controlling process group. 5th edition, page 95, differences between monitor and control, direct and manage, and perform integrated change control. Okay, let me see if I can bring that up. 5th edition, page 95. Bear with me as I go hunting for this. I've actually not been opening up my 5th edition book very much these days. I think that's a bit bad. Maybe I'm trying to get used to the 6th edition because I already know my fate. I already know quite a few people have decided they can't do the 5th edition exam. So I guess it's my way of lamenting about that. But I found it. I'm opening it up. So just bear with me as I open it up. Put in my password. And you said it's page 95? 95. Let's see what's here on 95. It's not a page I remember. Oh, 95, I see. Okay. I'm using Edge, and Edge from Microsoft, the pages go off. All right, so I'm looking at page 95, Carl, and all I see is a data flow diagram. Is that the page you're talking about? 5th edition, page 95. Differences between monitor and control. Yes. So the data flow diagram is pretty much that. It's a data flow diagram that shows you the interactions of processes in integration. So I want to make sure I get your question pinpoint precise. So this picture really just shows you what is happening with perform integrated change control. It's showing you the processes going in. Those of you following along, if you wanted to open up your PMBOK guide to page 95, that's where Carl's question is from. And in this image, we can see perform integrated change control is at the center. You know, anything within the gray box is from the same knowledge area, Carl. And then we can see direct and manage project work is interacting with perform integrated change control. We could get change requests from there. You could also get change requests from monitor and control project work. And it's showing you that work performance reports, you know the difference between WPI and WPR, right? WPD. So at this point, you have all of your work performance data. It's already been analyzed. It's already been analyzed in the controlling processes, and it's coming back in to monitor and control project work. And you don't see that piece. So just bear in mind WPI is going into monitor and control project work, but WPR is coming out. And as part of performing integrated change control, your change control board may need to refer to the change requests. Of course, they'll need to refer to the change requests. I mean, they may need to refer to the work performance reports to see how well you're performing before granting a change request or not. And as I discussed last week, it may not even be the CCB. It could be the sponsor and the PM that are the recognized authorities. So monitor and control project work is really the main goal of this process, is to get your work performance reports, right? That differentiates it from performing integrated change control, which is where you are analyzing change requests, where the change control board is approving or rejecting change requests. And direct and manage project work is where you're getting the work done. As a result of that, you can see approved change requests coming from performing integrated change control. So assuming a change request has been approved, it goes into direct and manage project work for the execution of that change request, whatever that looks like. That could be a widget, it could be a product, a service, a result, whatever it is. So they are all different. I'm wondering if I'm answering your question, Carl, but these are all very distinctly different processes. Monitor and control project work, really your work performance report and the overall integration of the monitoring and controlling process group. Direct and manage, the main goal is to get your change requests, if they are change requests, and your deliverables, and perform integrated change control to review your change requests. Good. I'm glad that helped. Awesome. Very good. So where are you in your studying, Carl? How much work have you put in? How many hours would you say you've put in to working on this? Has it clocked 100 hours yet? And have you been for a 35 contact hour course yet? And Grace, where are you in your studying or your PMP journey, should I say? PMP journey? I'm guessing you're taking a PMP as well. All right, well, I hope this short session has helped you. Just stay tuned because we're going to be having a lot more of these sessions as we ramp up for the 6th edition. Carl, I don't want you to have to read this book. I want you to read the brown book. Get certified, you know, on the 5th. That's what I want. It does have some good stuff, you know, it does have some good explanations of, you know, leadership and a bunch of other things. All right, well, that's good to know, Carl. So you finished and need to complete, okay, the practice tests. Oh, at 80% apiece. I worked for those guys once upon a time. I worked for them for a bit. Very, very good. Yeah, do it on the 5th. You definitely don't want to be caught reading this beast of a book. 756 pages. Definitely don't want that. All right. Well, my friends on Facebook, those of you who jumped on, you see, the thing about Facebook is like being a kid in a candy store. You've got so many things to do on Facebook that it's easy to go to the next tab. But YouTube, what you see is what you get. So my friends on Facebook, I'm going to say good night, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Take care. I'm going to chill for a little bit more with my friends on YouTube. All right, so that ends my friends on Facebook, who I know at this point in time are probably getting ready for another day in the office tomorrow. But those of you on YouTube, just be aware that over the weekend, Saturday morning, probably around 8-ish, 9-ish, you want to take a look at your email because it will notify you when we have the Savage on Saturday study group. And there we cover a lot more volume than what we covered tonight. And there are also a few other meetings that we will have through the week to kind of motivate people to get certified on the 5th and not this. This is going to be fun when it launches though, because it's very, very, very heavy. Lots of information. They go a lot more into leadership, and their take on resources is very different. No longer human resource management, it's all about resources. So if you want to save yourself from having to study all that from scratch, definitely do the 5th. All right, well, thank you for your audience. Those of you who are on the call right now, I want you to do me a favor. Go to the Praizion site. Go to praizion.com, okay? And I want you to look for our email address. Now, you got to take action, because within the next few minutes, it's going to be, what, 9 Eastern. So I'm going to give you till 9 p.m. Eastern on the 12th of December, 2017. Those of you who are on the call right now, shoot me an email. I've got something to send you, all right? Thank you very much for your audience, and thank you for your followership and subscribing to the channel. If you like the video, you found any use or motivation out of it, please just hit the like button, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care, folks, and bye for now. Bye.